Hello, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again on Talk and Fight. On this episode, we're talking boxing at the Olympics, which is coming up in 4 short days. And today we've got a couple of news items and then a quick recap of some of Christian's favorites going into some of the bouts in the different weight classes that we've been discussing over the past couple of episodes. As you all know, there's been some athletes testing positive over there in Tokyo upon arrival. Sadly, a couple of South African players on the football team have tested positive, but on that flight were athletes from Team Great Britain. So they had to go into self-isolation, and luckily for them, they've not tested positive. So they're out of isolation. Everything's back on schedule. But the Olympic officials are keeping a close eye, as we can all tell, on all these athletes and how well they're interacting with each other, and keeping these cases to a bare minimum. Obviously, they don't want any massive infection rate to rise, as it is rising in Tokyo itself. Where was the numbers? Here it is. That brings the total number of positive cases to 62, with 29 among the 22,000 accredited people who've arrived from abroad. So, okay, when we're talking percentages, I'm not really good at the maths, but at the end of the day, that has to be a pretty low number, and I think they have things under control. Good for them. It's a massive task. I don't envy them at all. Logistical nightmare, but testing is part of what is going on at all times when it comes to the Olympic Games, as we all know. And out of that comes some other scenarios as well, with respect to, say, Russia's team. I can't remember what they're now called, the Olympic Committee of Russia or something like that. But anyway, I digress. It's interesting that out of all those Rio officials, the referees and judges that were basically retired early after the Rio Games, it's interesting that a boxing official who was at the Rio Games has been appointed to a role for Tokyo 2020. Let me just read from the Inside the Games website. An American who served as a technical official during the corruption-plagued boxing tournament at the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio has been cleared to hold a position at Tokyo 2020 by the International Olympic Committee group organizing the competition. The IOC Boxing Task Force have confirmed that Angel Villarreal will be a deputy technical delegate at the delayed Olympic Games, which are due to open next Friday, July 23rd. As we all know, all 36 referees and judges used for the boxing tournament at Rio 2016 were suspended by the International Boxing AIBA over corruption concerns and are not allowed to officiate at 2020. The BTF's Boxing Technical Official Selection Process Summary, first published in November 2019, states current AIBA Executive Committee members, AIBA National Federation Presidents, AIBA National Federation General Secretaries, and referees and judges who were selected for the Olympic Games Rio 2016 will not be considered in the technical delegate, international technical official, and referees and judges selection process, end quote. According to the official Rio 2016 results book, Villarreal was an international technical official at the Games in Brazilian City, but he was not a referee or a judge at Rio 2016, and there's no suggestion that Villarreal was involved in any wrongdoing. The appointment, however, of any official involved in that controversial tournament is likely to raise eyebrows. Go figure. The IOC BTF told Inside the Games it had gone through great lengths to ensure all technical officials involved with the road to Tokyo Olympic qualifying events, as well as the Tokyo Olympic Games, have been fully vetted. So there you go. Just an adjunct to the conversation we've been having with respect to IBA and how it wants to come back into the game, if you will. Now, getting back to the juicy stuff. This is Christian's report that we've all been waiting for with respect to the featherweight and flyweight divisions. Here we go. In the featherweight division, apologies in advance for pronunciation, but in the featherweight category, Christian is picking as his two favorites, Mira Zizbek, Mirzbakhalyov from Uzbekistan, and Lazaro Alvarez out of Cuba. In the featherweight division, he's picking the Uzbek and the Cuban. Mirzbakhalyov provides pressure, and more pressure. Think of him as MJ Alamektiv 2.0, as he'll force fighters into will fights quickly. He will force fighters into will fights quickly. Sorry, Christian. And even scarier, he has skill as well. Mirza Haliov will not just medal, but he'll be a good professional as well. One of my favorites of the whole tournament. Alvarez is your traditional tricky Cuban fighter who could be poised to make a run at the medals. Live dogs, Peter McGrail out of Great Britain and Duke Reagan out of the United States. Peter McGrail is a solid, well-schooled fighter who fights at range well, but sometimes wears his heart too much on his sleeve. McGrail has good length for the decision. It reminds me of a UK version of Bruce Carrington, minus the dynamic trails that Carrington has. Reagan is a solid fighter who could develop into a great pro, not unlike a few of the other American fighters we've just seen if his style is too well suited for the professional game as opposed to Olympic and amateur boxing. Tend to favor a solid assortment volume over singular thudding blows. Reagan has as much international experience as anyone on the team and will look to make the most of this opportunity, as I'm sure all will. In the flyweight division, Christian's favorites are Shakhabdin Zoirov out of Uzbekistan and Amit Pangal out of India. Zoirov won gold at the 2016 Olympics, and I don't really see anyone stopping him from doing it again. Zoirov is the front runner from doing an impressive feat with a solid skill set. Who knows if we'll ever see him as a pro? I might as well be more profitable to say that just stay amateur and compete in world competitions for his country. India's best chance at a medal, Amit Pangal, will look to do everything that is needed of him to bestow this honor upon his country. Pangal quite possibly could be the most talented Indian boxer ever, and winning a medal would add to that statement. True. Live dogs in the flyweight category. Christian's got Galal Yafai out of England and Bilal Benamama out of France. The younger brother of Cal and Galal Yafai, will have all the confidence to boot coming from a successful fighting family and discount the experience of competition he has trained alongside. Yafai has the personality to become an engaging personality for this year's games. Benama has good height for the weight class, but often gives it up at times. But his size and stature, if used right, could make him a rough outing for any and all. Well, there you have it. There's Christian's favorites and his live dogs coming up in both the featherweight and flyweight divisions in the male category anyway, at this upcoming Olympics, a mere 4 days away, and a couple of news items that we went over with you. I thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you tomorrow. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Cheers.